Hi everybody, this is John from Nautical Monkey. I'm here today with Tim Taylor to talk about outbound sailing at the Sail and Ski Marina in Austin, Texas on Lake Travis. I'm here with Kayleen and Michelle, who are going to help us with this video. Thank you, ladies. And like I said, we're here to talk to Tim Taylor about his business and his interaction with Nautical Monkey. Tim has really been part of Nautical Monkey since the beginning. He was one of our first people. I actually knew him from having my boat in Sail Time. He owned the Austin node of Sail Time back in that part of the world. So when we started thinking about building a boat sharing website, he was the natural person to go to. He has a tremendous amount of experience in fractional boating and fractional memberships. He kind of knew what at least we thought he knew, and he did, what we wanted to build. And so it was just great. And aside from that, just from a sailing perspective, boating perspective, he's got a tremendous background. And so we're going to hear some of that, learn about him a little bit. Right now, Outbound Sailing has 5 boats. We're going to go look around at each one of them. Tim does lessons, he does charters, and he does fractional memberships in those boats. He also does really sounds like a great trip out to the Caribbean, where you can go for a week and really just refine your sailing skills there and spend a week in the Caribbean. It's really fantastic. So that's it. Sit back, relax, and check it out.
Okay, well, welcome to Outbound Sailing. We're going to get on Boomerang. This is our Catalina 31, and this is what we'll be working on most of the day. So come on board.
And I'm here with Kayleen and Michelle, those are they, who are going to help out with this video. Do you guys want to introduce yourselves?
Sure. I'm Kayleen. I'm not really an avid sailor, but I do have some experience in my past, so I'm really looking forward to getting my hands on some ropes today.
And I'm Michelle, and I have 0 experience in sailing, but I'm very excited to learn about how to sail and some of the terminology. I was going to say I have no experience in what I'm excited to learn.
So we're on one of 6 boats that Tim owns here on Lake Travis. And Tim, tell us a little bit about how you started in sailing and then how you created your business.
When I look back how I actually got started in sailing, it actually goes back to when I lived in Sydney. I was born and raised in Australia. We lived in Sydney. Sydney to Hobart yacht race is a well-known, well-attended race. It's a big time deal. And anyway, Mum and Dad took us kids out to the start of the Sydney to Hobart yacht race, and I was probably 5 or 6 years old. And so I was just looking at all these sailboats in the harbour, just going, wow. And they came out, and then all the recreational vessels stayed back there, and the racing boats came out through the heads. They turned south, and out came all these spinnakers. And I remember just looking at that, just going, wow, that is fantastic.
This is it.
I want to do that. From there, it was really, I sailed boats a little bit in Australia, but mostly when I came over here, is when I started sailing in bigger boats. Went to LSU, got a degree in electrical engineering. Went to work for IBM here in Austin. I'd gotten into management fairly early, and the further up you went, the worse it was. And so the more money I'm making, the less I'm liking it. Moved to Florida, and so got down there, bought my boat, and 35-footer, and said, okay, we're off. I just loved sailing. I loved working on boats, and you gotta love sailing, but you gotta love working on boats if you're gonna own one. So I just had a lot of fun mucking around on the boat and fixing things and getting ready, and then take off and go on a trip for a few weeks and come back. And sail around and just go out for an evening sail. It's great. Head off towards the sunset over Mexico. Started the business, Outbound Sailing, in Florida. It was right about that time that we ended up moving back to Austin, and ran into Grant Hedefin, who is he and George Benelli were the two guys that really started this whole fractional sailing business concept. And then since May 2015, it's doubled every year. It's gone crazy.
Nautical Monkey, and how I would utilize it if I was scheduling, and what kind of things would benefit me by using it.
Sure. Okay. So apart from just the scheduling of Nautical Monkey, which means that you've got a schedule online that you can access and click and reserve boats for different periods. That's how you're actually working it. There's a lot of things built into it that allow the administrator to keep control over how it's getting used, because you don't want somebody just monopolizing it. So you can add in restrictions there. You can add in things like a time where you can get a free shot at a sailing slot, for instance. 24 hours was a common thing before. I use 48 hours now, and I found that really works well. But that flexibility was built in so that I could play around with that and see if that would work. The number of sailing slots and the timing of them is extremely flexible, and you can do a lot of things with that. It allowed me to home in. I thought I wanted to have 6 slots per day. And when I did that, I found out, that was a bit difficult to work with. And so actually went back to, or down to just 2 slots per day. But I was able to do that. So you have things like, so what happens, let's say you're using the scheduler, and you schedule Saturday. And then it's on the schedule, and you got it free because you're within the 48 hours. You booked it on Thursday night, okay? So you get that for free. So what about if Sunday, you want to get Sunday too, but you're not within that 48 hours, so you schedule it. So then if you're really crafty, and I've had people do this, they'd go in and they would cancel that scheduled lesson and then schedule it within the 48 hours, so it was a free one. And so they were constantly getting free. So, there's mechanisms in there to restrict that and keep people. And the whole point is you do things like that, and you think, people might get ticked off about that, but they don't. I just tell them this is the way it needs to be done to make sure it's equitable. The whole idea is to make access to the vessel equitable, and having a system that allows you some flexibility in how it's used, and how it's controlled makes a huge difference. So,
that's great.
Yeah.
So you've got 5 different boats actively scheduling?
Actually, no.
Okay.
The two main boats that I have are the member boats, which is the Utopia, the Beneteau 31, and this boat here, which is Texas Tack, and that's a 128. Those are full time on the schedule. Right now, for the bareboat chartering that I'm doing it on a bit of a ad hoc basis, because I'm still refining how that gets done, because it's a different kind of thing. The people that are doing the monthly membership, they pay a flat monthly fee, and they get to use the boats. And by the way, extra training, anything like that they need, I do that for free. Like one guy, he hadn't taken the boat out for almost a year, and I'd called him up a couple of times. Hey, you want to keep paying this money every month? I said, oh yeah, we're going to get to it. Anyway, so we got back to it, and he said, hey, can you give us a refresher? So we went out for half a day and went through all of the stuff, just taking care of the boat and the sailing parts. And for me, that's an investment, because now when somebody knows how to use the boat and how to use it properly, then they don't break it as often. and that just saves me money. So put 5 days of training when somebody joins on a boat. They go through 5 days of training, so it's pretty serious training. So now the bareboat charter works for the students that need to get some time on the water. Okay, so that's there's not enough volume of that right now to sort of put it on the on that system. I'm still trying to work through how to do that, but ultimately it will be. And the reason that it will be is because it's got the flexibility in there where I can adapt it for that usage model compared to an ongoing monthly model. So that's a tremendous value in that software. I think it's great. I've looked at a number of different other scheduling systems. I quite often get emails about, hey, you want to try out a scheduling system and stuff like that, and I tell them, no, I'm quite happy with what I've got. So it's a good deal. And that's not even talking about the other part, which is the boat sharing, which people, peer-to-peer sharing, which we don't do.
Okay.
But if I wanted to do that, it's built in to do some of those things.
We're actually going to add rentals, the ability to list and book a rental to Nautical Monkey during the site revamp.
Yeah.
So no insurance.
Yeah.
It's just going to be an infrastructure for people to do that.
Yeah.
Which will be kind of, we're also enhancing the find a boat and find a partner.
Mm-hmm.
I think you actually got somebody off of our site, though, didn't you?
Yeah. I got a couple of inquiries. When I look at people using boats, there's two things. One is safety. Can they do it safely? And secondly, can they do it without wrecking the boat?
Oh, I'm going to do this. Is this a bad decision?
Yeah.
And that's what. So I invest a lot of time in training people to make sure that they're not going to wreck the boat. And by doing that, they become better sailors, and therefore, it's better from a safety point of view.
It'll start getting more and more slack. Yeah. There it goes. Let it out now.
So,
But how do you do that with a rental?
well, that's it. Well, what I've been doing so far, and I've just been using Pico, the little boat so far. What I do is I do a checkout. I have them send me a resume. Tell me about your sailing experience. And I've done a bunch of videos, so orientation videos. So they get online there and they go through and look at these videos. Then I meet them out at the boat, and then we have them go through that. And then depending on what their experience is, I'll actually go out with them and spend a couple of hours doing some training. And after that, if I feel like they can get out there and be able to, to sail safely, then they can charter the boat.
So that's a high level, kind of high touch rental business.
Yeah.
Which is not like we've got 57 boats, just go pick one.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. I mean, of course, you would do it that way. That's the way it should be done.
Okay, so where I want to expand is the memberships a bit more. It's time to get another boat. But okay, if you take care of it and don't text and sail, then you'll be fine. Oops. Sorry about that.
No, Evan.
The thing that I'm particularly interested in doing is expanding. Finishing up this practical navigation course and offering that as a course here as part of our stuff, a non-certifying course. But it's a course that you can spend a day and learn about some really practical ways to navigate. And because there's way too much dependence on GPS and chart plotters and stuff like that. And I always tell people a GPS will tell you within 3 feet where you went aground. They would do this practical navigation, and that way people can spend a lot less and spend a day doing it, and then be able to go out there and know how to navigate properly without
What do you think, Kayleen?
I've had a blast out here.
All right.